Conspiracy theories don't only spring from the fringe. They can thrive in the everyday chatter we all hear. Myth 1 says they always come from lunatics or people on the margins. But the truth is messier and more human. Ordinary worries, catchy headlines, and a quick explanation can push a simple idea into a sweeping theory. We'll break down how that happens with plain terms and real-life examples, like a campus rumor turning into a full-blown conspiracy, or a viral post that sounds smart but skips the boring details. You'll get practical, no-nonsense checks you can use in daily life, plus a few red flags to spot before you share. If you've ever wondered why a story feels right even when the facts don't quite fit, this video gives you the tools to see through the noise, with a dash of humor to keep it engaging. The myth and its appeal. It's a common stereotype that conspiracy theories only come from lunatics or people on the fringes. In real life, folks from many walks of life can be drawn into conspiratorial thinking, especially when information is murky. A coworker worries about a new policy, a neighbor reads a heated post, and a curious student links a few odd clues to a grander plot. The result is a story that feels tidy, solving a puzzle where there wasn't a clear map to begin. The appeal lies in the way these ideas simplify chaos. Our brains love clear explanations because they cut through noise and fear. They offer a sense of control when plans at work or at home feel out of reach. Conspiracy stories present a neat cause and a clear villain, which can be oddly comforting when the world seems noisy and unpredictable. If you've faced big changes with little warning, a single, convincing narrative can feel reassuring, even if it isn't the full truth. And yes, there's a little thrill in feeling like you've uncovered a hidden pattern that others miss. People from all ranks of life can be pulled in, not just those who already distrust institutions. A teacher who notices budget gaps, a parent who questions a product's safety, or a retiree who hears conflicting reports about a local issue might all latch onto a story that ties loose ends together. Social dynamics matter too. When friends share an idea, it gains weight simply by being echoed in a familiar circle. The need to belong can ride along with curiosity, so the idea stops feeling risky and starts feeling like a shared insider fact. Understanding the pull helps you talk about it without it turning into a debate trap. Start with questions about sources and evidence, not loud claims. Look for independent corroboration and see if the same conclusion appears from different angles. Notice when a story cherry-picks facts or uses strong emotions to block doubt. A little humor can defuse the heat, but stay focused on how the idea was built, not just whether you agree with it. When conversations stay curious and open, myths lose some of their grip, even if they don't disappear overnight. Who believes conspiracy theories? Belief in conspiracy theories isn't confined to the fringe. People from all walks of life can find a story that feels tidy in a messy world. You'll meet professionals, students, parents, and retirees who nod along to a version of events that sounds like a single culprit behind a big mess. The myth that conspiracies only come from lunatics or the marginalized misses how ordinary fear and everyday life can push someone toward a story that feels controllable. When a shocking event happens, many reach for a quick explanation rather than a slow, careful one. A sharp headline or a dramatic video can feel like the missing piece, even if the evidence is shaky at best. Educated people aren't immune to this pull either. Even with schooling, someone might be quietly drawn to dramatic explanations that fit a preferred narrative. A scientist might privately worry about conflicts of interest, a teacher might share a meme about a health scare, and a neighbor might see patterns where none were meant to be. The idea that only those on the margins believe things that aren't true doesn't hold up in real life. People can hold strong views while staying perfectly law-abiding, polite, and productive at work. It's not hard to picture a coworker who champions a conspiracy while still paying their taxes and cheering for their kids' dance recital. Who believes conspiracies? A broad mix, really. Some feel uncertain about big institutions and seek a simple story to anchor their feelings. Others are swayed by social circles that reward agreement and discourage questions. In daily life, A rumor can spread through a group the same way a catchy tune does. Easy to share, hard to debunk once it sticks. People often want control when events feel unpredictable, so a conspiratorial explanation can feel like grabbing a map in a fog. Cognitive quirks help the spread too, noticing patterns where none exist, attaching agency to random happenings, and preferring stories that fit one's identity or values. A little humor helps here too, like joking that the office coffee machine is running a covert information network. The upshot is that belief in conspiracies sits on a spectrum, not in a single corner. Trust in sources, personal experiences, and how information is shared all shape who buys it. Some people only entertain a shaky idea and move on. Others cling to it with more persistence than a favorite ringtone. The practical takeaway is simple. When you encounter a bold claim, check the source. Look for corroboration from reliable outlets, and notice whether the story cherry-picks facts to fit a narrative. If someone is open to dialogue, a respectful, patient conversation often matters more than a shouting match. And a little humor, used kindly, can ease the corner into clearer thinking without punching holes in a person. Beyond lunatics, the spectrum of belief. Contrary to a common stereotype, conspiracy theories don't come exclusively from lunatics. Belief sits on a broad spectrum that includes curious skeptics, worried insiders, hobbyists who chase puzzles, and casual online participants who catch a few clues and run with them. A workplace rumor can bloom into a theory when a sudden policy shift feels opaque. A friend notices coincidences and starts connecting the dots as if there were a single mastermind behind many events. People tend to fill gaps with stories that feel meaningful, especially when the world seems chaotic. This isn't about one kind of mind. It shows how information moves in crowds. Confirmation bias is a brain trick that makes us notice things that fit our current view and ignore things that don't. Social networks amplify that trick. If a few posts feel convincing, others jump on the bandwagon, not because they've proven something, but because many others seem to believe it. A neighbor who doubts government promises might fixate on a handful of reports that sound alarming, dismissing official explanations as excuses. Humans crave clear causes. When events look messy, a neat story feels easier to swallow. Not all believers fit the stereotype of a fringe thinker. Some who question official accounts do so from a place of legitimate concern or technical interest. A scientist, a journalist, a former insider. People in various roles can stumble into a conspiracy frame when data is opaque or inconsistent. And the line between real worry and a conspiratorial tale is not always obvious. Sometimes the line looks like a mystery novel that forgot its author. A rumor about hidden agendas can spread through friendly chats, then move into larger circles on social media. The result is a blend of caution, suspicion, and sometimes a little fantasy. So what helps? Check sources, seek multiple independent confirmations, and pause when a claim sounds too tidy. Ask what evidence would actually contradict the theory and whether that evidence was considered. Notice when coverage cherry-picks facts and when it presents a balanced view. Genuine issues, conflicts of interest, opaque funding, or power imbalances can exist without requiring a grand cover-up. Keep conversations about such topics practical, focused on verifiable points, and free of name-calling. Truth feels messy, but it's worth the effort to test these ideas against what's verifiable. How information networks shape theories. Online networks route information through feeds, groups, and private chats. This means people often see the same claim in different contexts, which makes it feel more true. Algorithms decide what you see, nudging you toward content that confirms your current views rather than challenging you. When a claim pops up repeatedly across threads, memes, and messages, it gains emotional punch, even if the facts are thin. Humor and sensationalism travel faster than careful analysis. A few charismatic voices can act like loud amplifiers for a claim. People imitate what seems popular, and that social proof can trump careful checking. Groups curate what counts as evidence, often favoring anecdotes over data. Small posts twist into big narratives when multiple people share them with confident faces. Even minor errors become part of the story when repeated with certainty. Information networks are not separate. A rumor can jump from a chat app to a video clip to a forum. A viral clip may plant a seed and later be reinforced by text posts and misinterpretations. Sometimes mainstream outlets pick up a claim, giving it a veneer of credibility. Then, people who never question the source share it further, as if it passed the test. The joke is that a single well-edited screenshot can look like a smoking gun. Conspiracy myths don't only sprout from fringe corners. They grow in ordinary networks. A person in a well-meaning online community may pass along a dubious claim just because it fits a story they like. A casual rumor can become a belief when it rides the rails of many shares, comments, and recreations. Ask questions, compare sources, and look for evidence beyond a single post. A little skepticism can help dampen the spark before it becomes a blaze. Cognitive biases that reinforce theories. Conspiracy theories don't require a special kind of person. Many normal, thoughtful folks slip into them because the mind prefers tidy stories over messy probability. This happens through a web of cognitive biases that shape what we see and how we judge what is true. They pop up in everyday life, often without a grand plan behind them. One big trap is confirmation bias. If you already lean toward a belief, you notice evidence that supports it and doubt or ignore evidence that doesn't. For example, a person who suspects cover-ups might latch onto one whistleblower claim and skip over official explanations. The availability heuristic makes dramatic, vivid stories feel common. A single sensational post about a supposed scheme sticks in memory and seems to reflect reality, even if it doesn't. Proportionality bias nudges people to assume a big, purposeful plan behind big events. So random mishaps look like evidence of a master conspiracy. Our brains also like to find intent. So agency detection makes us assume someone intentional pulled the strings instead of accepting chance. When two things happen close in time, illusory correlation nudges us to see a pattern, even if there's no real link. And the bandwagon effect asks us to go along with what others claim, especially in online chats where everyone believes this, right? We're also not immune to bias blind spots, thinking others are biased while we're the objective ones. Online feeds amp these effects, turning small doubts into loud beliefs. Echo chambers keep feeding you the same ideas, so doubts feel like evidence. Memes turn complex worries into quick, shareable packets, which makes it easy to treat a short post as a complete argument. A dash of humor helps sharpen the point, but it can also lock you into a side you didn't carefully examine. All of this grows in a space where emotions run high and facts seem negotiable. Countering these biases is mostly about practice. Slow thinking helps you pause before you buy into a claim. Check sources and look for disconfirming evidence, not just friendly confirmations. Seek diverse opinions and ask yourself what would convince you you're wrong. Put a deadline on belief updates so you don't keep rereading the same arguments. Talk to someone with a different view and really listen. No shouting matches. Distinguish between feelings and facts, and give yourself permission to change your mind when new, solid information appears. If you can do that, you'll notice the bias fog thinning a little, and the world will look a bit clearer. Real-world consequences of labeling theorists. Labeling someone who questions official accounts as a conspiracy theorist or a lunatic isn't just name-calling. It changes the rules of engagement for everyone involved. It closes doors. The moment a critique is branded as madness, debate moves from evidence to identity, and people tune out. That silence hurts everyone. Researchers, journalists, and even ordinary citizens learn to pick sides instead of testing claims, which means ideas don't get tested fairly. Funds, jobs, and platforms can disappear behind a label. A researcher who cautiously questions a project may find grants redirected, speaking slots canceled, or peer review treated with suspicion, not scrutiny. The result is less curiosity, more control. In everyday life, labeling seeps into classrooms, workplaces, and neighborhoods. People stop listening. Parents, teachers, and coworkers who raise concerns about safety or fairness might be dismissed as nutty, which pushes real concerns underground and lets problems fester. That can breed real risk. If the goal is healthier dialogue and wiser policies, the first step is separating the claim from a label. Treat evidence as evidence. Create spaces where curiosity is welcome, not punished, so people can test ideas without fear of social or financial ruin. Humor helps, too. Debunking without dismissing critics. Many people assume conspiracy theories come only from lunatics or people on the margins. That stereotype misses the bigger picture. Real worries can spark theories regardless of background. When events feel murky, information feels scattered, or explanations come with more heat than light, people reach for simple narratives. A routine project announcement can spark rumors if officials use jargon and leave practical details unclear. Sometimes a pattern of odd choices makes a hidden plan seem plausible, and the urge to connect dots kicks in. A touch of humor helps here. A neighbor joking about a top-secret spreadsheet in town hall meetings reveals how gaps between what we know and what we suspect fuel belief. Debunking without dismissing critics means taking their concerns seriously. Start by listening, even when you disagree. Ask what exactly they think happened and what kind of evidence would change their mind. Separate the claim from the emotion that often drives it. Then check the core idea against clear, simple sources and explain where it fits with what is known and where it doesn't. If someone worries a school policy hides something, look at the policy text, meeting notes, and independent summaries rather than tossing the concern aside. Don't pile on with insults. Offer a careful, here's how this adds up instead. A little empathy goes a long way toward keeping the conversation alive. Use plain language to keep the dialogue honest and practical. Skip heavy jargon and translate tricky terms into easy examples. For instance, explain that a correlation means two things move together, but it doesn't prove one causes the other. Provide simple tests people can do. Check a claim against several sources, look for independent confirmation, and see if timelines line up with what officials or experts say. Be upfront about what you don't know and what would count as solid proof. We all have mental shortcuts that can trip us up, so point out common traps like assuming one odd coincidence means a grand scheme. A light touch and clear checks make the process feel doable, not punitive. In the end, the aim is to unwrap confusion without labeling critics as enemies. Debunking without dismissing is about inviting better explanations and offering a clear path to verify it. Propose concrete steps people can take to test a claim and invite them to follow along with the checks you described. Keep the tone calm, respectful, and useful so the conversation stays productive rather than spiraling into shouting matches. If curiosity stays in the driver's seat, the result is clarity that doesn't erase legitimate concern. Myth 1 isn't true. Conspiracy theories don't only come from people on the fringe or folks who feel left out. They can grow from ordinary questions, spread with a friend share, or start as a rumor at work. They thrive when life feels uncertain, when a simple story feels easier than a messy truth, and when online feeds push quick narratives. You've probably seen this in everyday life. A coworker swears a new policy is about control, a friend posts a video claiming a famous event was staged, or a meme stitches 3 clues into something that looks convincing. Direct summary. They can come from normal people, not just lunatics. They spread because uncertainty and emotion make simple stories appealing. And a few simple checks, evidence, alternative explanations, and who benefits help you tell fact from fiction. If you've ever found yourself questioning something after a single post, you're not alone, and you're already doing the right thing by sticking with the channel. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give the video a like, subscribe for more myths debunked in plain language, and drop a comment with a conspiracy you heard and how you checked it. In the next video, we'll tackle Myth 2 and look at how myths take hold online, plus quick, practical checks you can use in everyday life. No lab coat required.